on Ian vs. Daddybones, we are fucking wrapping up September with some Mattel Creations Snake Invasion.
Oh boy, kids, we're gonna have fun today.
Yay! Hey! Alright!
How is everyone doing tonight?
Hey! Alright!
How is everyone doing tonight?
Hey! Alright!
How is everyone doing tonight?
Hey! Alright!
Epic stuff.
Welcome back! It's another exciting episode of Ian vs. Daddybones. I am Ian Daddybones. Say what's up to everybody watching on Facebook and YouTube right now. Get a special high five and a knuck tap to all my Patreon subscribers who throw me $1 to $5 a month to get access to bonus content, their name in the credits, and if you're on level 2, you get the Original Geeks podcast. What is up to everybody watching the show today? I am very excited because today's episode, we are officially going to wrap up the month of September, and I am fucking telling you this, I am super excited because October is going to be fucking stacked. I have every episode planned for the month of October, and we are officially almost at the end of the track to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of Ian vs. Daddybones. And on episode 50, we're going to be celebrating. I'm going to be opening up and unboxing and assembling Snake Mountain. And that's it. Fucking October, we are officially diving into Masters of the Universe Origins because my Wave 13, my Wave 14 figures, fucking everything that I pre-ordered back in the winter has all showed up and arrived, and it's officially time for the diabolical snake invasion. This wave, these 2 waves of figures, including the release of Snake Mountain, is what the Origins line is calling the era of the diabolical snake invasion, because the beginning of the year, last year's waves, pumped out King Hiss, Rat Lord, Tongue Lasher, so we officially got the Snake Men. We got Camo Con as a Mattel Creations drop, and over the course of this year, they've been announcing all the new stuff coming out, which is going to focus on the continued rise of the Snake Men, and it's going to be fucking sick. And on today's episode, I'm going to be opening up the 2 Mattel Creations figures that got announced at San Diego Comic-Con this past July over the summer. When they had Comic-Con, Mattel was showing off some Masters of the Universe Origins and Revelations new items, and these were 2 of the figures that they showed, and they were released within July and August. So both Lady Slither and Fangor, 2 brand new characters, by the way, that are introduced and added to the Masters of the Universe line by artist Axel Jimenez. He created these characters, and you know, there's some stories behind them that we're going to get into. Fangor has a story, and actually Fangor has already been created as a character. He made his debut in the Masters of the Universe Classics line, so I'm going to be talking about him for the Patreon subscribers, but we're going to be opening up Lady Slither in just a little while. But the thing is, with everything going on, like with Masters of the Universe Origins, earlier in the year, I believe back in January, and it could have been a February episode, I gotta double check exactly what episode I talked about this on, but on one of the episodes during the winter, at the beginning of the year, I happened to run down this graphic that Mattel released about everything that was scheduled to come out for Masters of the Universe Origins, as well as the 9th and 10th waves of Masterverse, along with the deluxe figures that are being included with those waves. So I basically had like this JPEG image, like an unofficial checklist of everything basically that I pre-ordered once it became available to pre-order. And once everything showed up and arrived at my house, I've been able to check things off the list. So Origins is pretty much almost completely done for the year. There's a Ruler of the Sun 3-pack that's about to hit Target. I gotta grab, but I'm also gonna let that sit for a little bit. I'm gonna wait for that Rulers of the Sun 3-pack to hit like 50% off and shit. But like I said, rolling into October, it's gonna be all about the rise of the Snake Men for Masters of the Universe Origins. That's gonna culminate with episode 50. Like, I'm talking about the Diabolical Snake Invasion 4-pack. I got a Skeleton Warriors 2-pack. You know, just last weekend, I had my box of my 4 Wave 14 figures. So I got Squeeze and Spikor and Serpent Claw Man-at-Arms and the Snake Infiltrator Palace Guard. So my Wave 14 is completely taken care of, and right now, all I'm waiting on is the Snake Trooper, Snake Tila, and the younger Burger King Randy figures to show up. And once they arrive, I will be completely caught up and current with Masters of the Universe Origins when it comes to retail. But like I said, at San Diego Comic-Con this past summer, these 2 figures were shown. Now, Fangor got released first, and then Lady Slither was actually available at the beginning of the month, which is actually funny because with the way Lady Slither got released on Mattel Creations, I gotta hand it to Mattel Creations because it's always a mixed bag whenever they drop a new figure on Mattel Creations, because you can buy the figure and they'll be like, this item is scheduled to ship on or around, and it will give you a date that's usually a month out, 2 months out. Sometimes there's been instances where it's been like 3 months you're going to have to wait. And in some cases, like Masters of the Universe, they did this with Grizzlor and Wundar because Mattel fucked up the drops. They had a second opportunity for you to buy those figures that they called MTO. So you were able to get the figures made to order, but because they now had to produce and manufacture these figures, you got to give them like 6 to 8 months for them to make this figure, put it in its packaging, and then ship it to your ass. I can say that when these 2 figures respectively released on a Tuesday, they were purchased. I got the shipping notification on Wednesday, and both of these figures arrived Friday or Saturday. So for ordering a figure on Tuesday and already having it arrive on Saturday, these 2 were like 2 of the quickest Mattel Creations figures I ever got. But the whole purpose of these characters is, in the vintage line back in the 80s, when Mattel had Masters of the Universe, you know, you had He-Man and Skeletor's Evil Warriors, so you had the Masters of the Universe versus the Evil Warriors. Then they added the Evil Horde as the new bad guy faction. Now they added the Snake Men as the second group of, you know, bad guys. And, you know, they created their story about the Snake Men. How, like, King Hiss and the Snake Men, how they were banished by the Eternian Elders. So the spell of separation was cast, and the Snake Men were banished, and the 3 towers of Eternia were driven back underground, where they stayed for years. And, you know, that was that. And then you have the vintage toy line, where Skeletor and Cobra Khan wind up breaking the seal that frees the Snake Men. So now King Hiss and the Snake Men are back, and then the 3 towers rose, this was how the whole Eternia playset got debuted in the 80s in the first place, because of this whole Snake Men storyline that by today's standards was barely fleshed out in the beginning. So over the course of this 40-year time gap, all these artists that worked at Mattel back in the day and grew older, or kids who grew up fans of Masters of the Universe that would wind up getting their fucking dream job working for Mattel, you know, becoming artists and creating the new packaging for the toy line. You know what I mean? Like you look at like guys I really admire their work right now, and that's Axel Jimenez and Roy Juarez. And the funny thing about Roy Juarez is, for months on this show, I've been telling y'all whenever I opened a figure or I show off the back of the card, the packaging art, I've been always putting over this artist that I follow on Instagram. And now the Instagram always said, it always said Manuel Eduardo Caritas. Well, come to find out, I'm an idiot sometimes. I had no idea that the Manny Caritas account that I was following on Instagram was actually Roy Juarez. I don't know if Instagram went through an update, but all I know is I clicked on his profile one day, and underneath the name, Manny Eduardo Caritas, it said Roy Juarez, and I'm like, huh. So, doing the mental math, I put 2 and 2 together on that. So either way, between Roy Juarez and Axel Jimenez, I very much fell in love with these guys' art, because even as a kid with the vintage packaging art and the posters and whatnot, I was so in love with Masters of the Universe packaging and artwork, because it just, all of that shit looked like the Masters of the Universe artwork is the type of shit when I was a kid I wish I could have found posters for to hang on my wall, even though there were pull-out posters in like the Masters of the Universe magazine for those type of images, but still, I wish they were released on a bigger scale, because a lot of those artists that worked on the Masters of the Universe stuff back in the 80s, you know, while they have their fan bases and whatnot, unfortunately, you know, a lot of them don't really get the props they really deserve, because, you know, they were really creating some fucking magic back in the day just by picking up their, you know, paintbrushes, their pens, their pencils, you know, everything, just the fucking the magic, you know what I mean? It's like I can look at Axel Jimenez's art, I can look at Roy Juarez's art, and I could just smile and just get all in the feels and relate to what I was like as a kid, seeing this shit in stores, and then finally like opening said toy on like a Christmas or my birthday, and then finally seeing that packaging art and whatnot, and it just blew my fucking mind. So, you know, the magic is still there when it comes to opening these toys. But like I said, back in the day, you had the three towers, you had the Snake Men. They were expanding the Masters of the Universe story, but then 1988 it all ended. So whatever they were going to expand upon with the Snake Men, even with what we know that there was going to be a Powers of Grayskull expansion line that was going to focus on Hero and the Giants, and so that was going to be a thing. So basically, with 2023, because for a lot of people getting their Masters of the Universe Origins toys this year, since all this shit just came out, everything that dropped last year that people have been slowly getting over the course of this year has been the Wave 10, the Wave 11, the Wave 12, actually the Wave 11, the Wave 12, Rise of the Snake Men figures, and you know, so it's just been growing. So they're telling the story very slowly, mind you, because last year at this time they were getting ready to start the Eternia crowdfund. Here we are a year later, they're about to start a second crowdfund. We don't know what it's going to be, but I think it's going to be the Snake Layer playset, which I'm going to discuss, especially when it comes to these characters. But they're taking their time telling this story, they're letting it marinate, and it's like all these extras are getting added to the mix. Because right now, like Origins is paying homage to the vintage line, but between 2008 and 2018, we had Masters of the Universe Classics, which basically, Masters of the Universe Classics, the concept of classics, in my opinion, evolved into what Masterverse currently is today, available at retail. where Classics was available online only, it's still like the same size figures, articulation, and attention to detail with the figures. Even though, excuse me, some people will claim that Classics had the better quality. That's debatable, like everything else on the internet. But what I'm getting at is, with the Origins line paying homage to the vintage line, and then Classics being something that they did for 10 years, you know, it ended, you know, they ended Classics in 2018. So it's been like 6 years at this point since Classics was a thing. So they basically, with Classics, they were able to put out all the vintage characters, all the She-Ra characters, the movie characters, the new adventure, the Galactic Adventures of He-Man. You know, they were able to do all of those figures for Classics. So, and as well as they introduced and released figures that never got made before. Like King Grayskull got a figure in Classics. There was like Despara, which was basically they changed She-Ra to the point kinda to where they kinda made where She-Ra was the Force Captain when she was under Shadow Weaver's mind control, and Adora was the Force Captain of the Horde. In the comics, when they made the modern comics, they kind of added elements of Darth Vader to Adora. So like, what if She-Ra, when she was Adora, she basically was more like Darth Vader in her presentation, complete with the fact that she even wore a Hordak mask herself. So that way, even if Hordak's not here right now to kill all y'all, doesn't mean you're not going to see his face when I kill all y'all. That's basically what the Despara was all about. So, you know, like I said, like, a lot of new characters and concepts were being fleshed out. Like I said, like Axel Jimenez was part of the Classics team, you know, because he was able to have some of his created Snake Men characters, because basically you have King Hiss, Ratlore, Tongue Lasher, Cobra Khan. You basically have your A squad of snakes that we got in the 80s, but now they're introducing the B squad of snakes that's being known as the Diabolical Snake Invasion. So now they're adding new warriors to the mix, including some new Snake Men who already got released in Classics. Like Fangor already got a figure, and there's like a character named Lord Grasp, a character named Reptilax, there's a character named Terror, you know what I mean? These were unreleased, well, these were released brand new Snake Men in Classics. They haven't came out yet in Origins, but all signs are pointing that these fucking characters are going to be coming to Origins. So, with that said, let's get started on Lady Slither, because Lady Slither came in this decorative box. As you can see, it says Lady Slither on the front, and it's got like this Gorgon-like Medusa seal where you see her face, and there's a bunch of snakes all around her. And on the back of the box, and it's got this greenish-black snake scale pattern on the sides of the box. Even has a gold Snake Men seal on the top of it. But the back of the box reads, "In her time, Lady Slither ruled the Snake Men as their queen, empress, and all the Snake Men lived with one singular purpose, to serve her every wish. Lo, Lady Slither wished nothing more than for the snake home planet of Nahas to be the center of the universe. Such a desire would unravel the very fabric of reality itself, and so the most powerful cosmic beings in the multiverse united to banish Lady Slither to the scale Betwixt worlds, saving all. It was only a delay, however. The Snake Men returned to Eternia, finally freeing their Queen Empress from her exile. Now the Masters of the Universe must stop Lady Slither's poison plan before the Snake Men strike. So it adds a little story. And if we slide off her box... Actually, now that I think about it, it's backwards for the way they packaged it. And if we take off her slip cover, there she is, in her glory, Lady Slither, the evil slithering viper. And on the top of the front card art, you see Lady Slither with her squad of snake men. And there's let's see, looking at the front of this, there's Fangor, Lady Slither, Reptilax, there's another unnamed snake goon, and then what looks like the red random snake goon that comes in the Diabolical Snake Invasion 4-pack that we're going to get to in October. But also, in the back corner, you can faintly see the Snake Layer playset that is more than likely going to be the new crowdfund. And on the back of her packaging, you can see Lady Slither sitting on her throne, flanked by 2 additional snake goons, snake henchmen warriors, one of which is a green priest-looking dude, and then the other individual is a red snake man that has a red snake tail bottom half, and it has an open hood cobra head like the CamoCon figure. And my prediction, and we're going to get the official announcement on the first day of New York City Comic-Con. Mattel's going to make the announcement and have a YouTube presentation where they're going to announce what the new crowdfund's going to be. It's more than likely going to be the Snake Layer playset. So I'm going to go ahead and predict that these 2 snake goons on the back of this box are going to be included in that crowdfund. And those 2 snake goons are probably going to be the unlockable tier figures. And that's the whole thing. That's my prediction. It's my speculation. So that's my wish. So let's go ahead and open up this Lady Slither figure. So yeah, I wound up grabbing 2 of these when she came out. The reason I grabbed 2 is normally I would grab 1 to open and display, and I would grab 1 to just keep in the box. But as you can see by the front of her packaging, she's got additional accessories that gives her 2 different ways to be displayed. And you can either have Lady Slither stand up on her 2 legs, or in the whole case of what's the point of buying her if you're not going to do this, you can take off her legs, her waist pops off, and I'm trying to get this fucking mini comic out. Alright. It's kind of dumb how they have the mini comic taped to the inside of the box. How hard is that? How hard was that? Just tape it to the back of the fucking inside packaging so I didn't have to go through all that. Like, what if some kid's trying to take the comic out and he fucking rips it because you dickheads had to put it on the inside of the box? Yeah, and then it all marked up the inside of the box because of the fucking tape. Way to go. So there's that. But, let's see here. How are we gonna... Well, it doesn't look like she has anything tying her down like some of the other figures, so I'm not even gonna need the scissors and nail clippers, y'all. But, let's see. She's got She's got the same like snake staff that like fucking Tila comes with. She comes with this crooked dagger. Right here we officially have the snake tail. And how is she gonna pop out of here? Careful, miss. Rocking her cape. Alright, real quick as I get Lady Slither out of her packaging. Shout out real quick, Big Drew Graphics. Thank you very much, Big Drew, for hooking me up with this dope ass Pee Wee Herman t-shirt. Alright, now as you can see, Lady Slither is, and see, she's got her original new backstory on the back of that box, but for the most part, especially when it comes to, like, the internet and their interpretation, you know, I'm not really playing, of her story, like, she's kind of like, it's kind of like she's King Hiss's queen, but at the same time, it's kind of like she feels like she has her own agenda. But, like most Masters of the Universe characters, you know, the characters can be disassembled. They separate at the waist. The heads pop off. The arms even pop off. But this is what we do. Her legs can be taken off. And then we get the snake tail. And then she's got like this waist belt clip attachment. So this will then snap on top of the snake tail. And then from there, that pops in underneath, and then you have, alright, now, I gotta be gentle, it's my first time, because I've never, this is brand new, like, this, snake tail attachment, this whole thing with Lady Slither, it's, seems a little top heavy. How the hell am I? Like this snake tail attachment's completely brand new as far as an accessory goes for the figure. I am not getting her to stand up good. Yeah, the snake tail's completely new. There we go. Snake tail is completely new. So that's what really that's what's really interesting about this character. The fact that, oh my God, they finally have a brand new body piece that's an original part instead of something that's being reused like pretty much everything in Masters of the Universe, because everything with the brand, they're notorious for they're notorious for the shared parts and finding the same ways to make like 30 different figures off the same buck. But there you go, in her in all her glory, Lady Slither. She looks pretty fucking sick. I gotta say, you know, she's slender and slim, like Tila, Evelyn, and the Sorceress. So she's real slender with the female body, and you know, I'm not saying it's a bad thing by any means. It's just, it's weird. It's kind of one thing seeing her in the box, but then taking her out. I mean, don't get me wrong. She's a beautiful looking figure, you know, and especially, and then I'm totally marking out for this snake tail, because the reality of the situation is, when it comes to this snake tail accessory, you know, like I said, she has this red accessory that snaps onto her waist that she then pops on the top peg. But the reason for that is the red piece is so it actually makes the waist narrow so her torso pops on. Because if you take her torso off and remove the red piece, now the tail can be used on one of the male figures because the width of the top of the tail lines up with the width of the waist for the male figures. So even if you wanted to take some of your snake men and pop their legs off and give them a tail bottom, you could totally do that. And I know Mattel doesn't go out of their way for actually putting out the dumb shit that people actually want, like weapons and accessories packs, or shit like that, or like stands, official display stands for our figures that we could buy from Mattel that they did have available during the Classics era, like flying stands for fucking Cyclone and fucking Stratos or Buzz-Off, but now they don't have... Unless they give you those stands and you buy them from a third-party company, you're not getting stands for your figures offered to you from Mattel. But it would be neat if they like put out like additional tails in like different colors, or if some other Snake Men warriors came with a tail themselves. That would be pretty dope. Because I mean, I do gotta say, instead of having to like bend the ankles or bend, you know what I mean, bend the feet and bend the knees and adjust the legs and shit to get the figure to stand upright. It was a little tricky figuring out exactly how to pose the snake tail on the figure, but once I got it set up correctly for her, she seems to be chilling just fine on the table. But like I said, I mean, what a wonderful new character to get added to the Origins line. And like I said, I mean, she's just, this right here, we're rounding out the month of September, getting ready for October, because there's so much shit to open next month that all ties into this era of Masters of the Universe Origins. And I do gotta say, like she was a Mattel Creations drop, but she was considered a deluxe Mattel Creations drop because she had the deluxe packaging that they usually, there's been other figures in the line that came in this type of packaging. Like Moss Man came in a similar box, even though it was more narrow. But like the Keldor and Cronus 2-pack came in this style box. The Eternian Palace Guard came in this style box. The Skeletor and the Screech, along with the Tila and Zor that I just recently talked about on the show, they came in this style box. So for her being a Mattel Creations figure, I want to believe Lady Slither is the first Mattel Creations figure to come in this style deluxe box, because all the other ones usually come in the brown cardboard box with the art, but Lady Slither actually came with the slipcase, and so they went above and beyond for that. That packaging's absolutely sick. But she also came with her own exclusive mini comic, and just flipping through her mini comic real quick, it focuses on King Hiss having a discussion and an argument with the Snake Men, and then it looks like Lady Slither shows up, and then it looks like Lady Slither proceeds to decapitate King Hiss and cut off his head, and then she proceeds to take control of the Snake Men, and it says, "Long live the Queen Empress," and so then she's taking total control. But see, that's where it kind of gets confusing with what exactly Mattel plans on doing as far as the continuity, the canon, the overall story. Because this is where Masters of the Universe kind of gets really confusing. Because like the 2000 and X series had its own version of its way of telling how King Hiss and the Snake Men came to be with in Eternia. And in the Masters of the Universe Classics continuity, there's this whole story where, like, Tila got bit by King Hiss, and Tila became the Green Goddess, but at this, and it wound up, like, Tila's skin wound up turning green, and all the snake men, like, started focusing on Tila. Like, the Ewoks were looking at C-3PO thinking she was a goddess and shit. So then all the snake men were taking orders from this snake Tila. So it's like, if, like, Lady Slither's an original figure created by Axel Jimenez, but what I think they're doing for the purpose of the storyline now is I think they're actually retconning the whole... It's weird, because I'm not sure if they're retconning or getting rid of the whole Tila gets bit by King Hiss, Tila turns into the Green Goddess and the Snake Goddess that all the snake men are worshipping and taking orders from. Because at one point, because of Tila leading the snake men and Tila also being the sorceress in her relations to the alliance to the Masters of the Universe, for a while, He-Man and the Snake Men were on the same side, and it was all fucking weird. And it's like, between the comic universes and the cartoon universes, everything's so fucking confusing sometimes with Masters of the Universe, because there's no one true storyline, and in today's age is an age of multiverses and whatnot. Like, it also applies to Masters of the Universe, so, like, each timeline is its own thing, each brand is its own thing, like 2000X is its own thing, Vintage is its own thing, which gets kind of confusing right now in Origins, because trying to figure out what's up and what's down. Oh, by the way, another prediction for the Mattel Creations crowdfund, if it's the Snake Lair, I think Hero may also be one of the maybe a backer bonus, or maybe the final unlockable tier figure. That's all. Again, that's my prediction and shit. So it's like, it's so crazy to fight to really figure out what's going on. But I'm just having a fucking blast with it, because right now, with everything that got announced at the beginning of this year that I could officially checked off and has arrived, Mattel did say that at New York City Comic Con, or at San Diego Comic Con, that 2023, this is actually going to be like the last retail year for Masters of the Universe Origins, because the rest of the line is kind of moving to Mattel Creations, whereas the retail spot for Origins is going to get replaced with Masters of the Universe Cartoon Collection, which is going to be a brand new line that focuses on, like, the Filmation cartoon series. So for a lot of people wondering, like, how come we're not getting She-Ra figures in Origins, because I honestly think they're saving the She-Ra figures to put them out with the Cartoon Collection line eventually. But yeah, but with everything going on, it's just absolutely sick, though, because now, for the purpose of the new mini comics and whatnot, they're kind of telling the new story, even though a lot of the fans aren't exactly we're not exactly sure how canon official these mini comics are, or are they just bullshit mini comics for the purpose of whatever 4 random figures they decide to throw in the wave as they're putting everything out. But like I said, all the Snake Men that I had as a kid, I already have as an adult. So now there's all these new fucking Snake Men coming out, and we're starting off the rise of the Snake Men and introducing the B team of the Diabolical Snakes as we go through the month of October. So it's going to be fucking sick. So I want to thank everybody for watching the show today. I want to thank everybody who's been supporting me for the past year. If you watch the show, please help me grow. Throw me a heart on Facebook. Smash that share button. Let everybody know to check out my show. And if you're in a position to throw me some fucking stars, I would appreciate it. And I want to thank Joe Davis, because Joe threw me some stars last week, so I've been doing my research on the Facebook stars, and come to find out, Facebook stars basically had the equivalent of like 1 cent per star. So you throw me 50 Facebook stars, I'm getting like 50 cents. So every little drop in the bucket counts. So, you know, thank you for opening my eyes on exactly how Facebook stars work, Joe. And I encourage everybody to give me your fucking hearts and your stars. I want them all. Help me build and grow the brand. And we're about to celebrate the 1-year birthday of Ian versus Daddybones. But I'm going to get the fuck out of here because I'm going to open up the Fangor for Patreon subscribers. So hit up Ian versus Daddybones, patreon.com, Ian versus Daddybones, $1 for 30 days of bonus content. You get your name in the credits as my way of saying thank you very much for your support. If you throw me $5 a month, I got a second show, the Original Geeks Podcast. You're guaranteed at least 2 episodes of that a month for the extra hookup. So thank you very much for that. But I will see everybody next time. And until then, cheers, Pete!
Where will I be when I run out of luck? Get hit by a truck or get stuck on the railroad tracks. When shit goes amok and life starts to suck, you're stuck cause you never go. Where will I be when I run out of luck? Get hit by a truck or get stuck on the railroad tracks. When shit goes amok and life starts to suck, you're stuck cause you never go back.
You can't hide and you can't pretend, cause I'll point you out like Wendy and Glenn. Some things you learn in the school you attend, but the things that I say you can't comprehend.
I ain't no hippie and I ain't no punk. I don't smoke crack and I don't do junk. I'll just sit down and smoke a fat bong, pull out my guitar and sing a fast song. There's your motherfucking American Idol, putting $2 a gallon down the gas hole. 10 million votes for the next asshole. I'll just put on my engineer's hat, sit back and relax while we speed down the tracks. I'll read the book just to spit out the facts.
Where will I be when I run out of luck? Get hit by a truck or get stuck on the railroad tracks. When shit goes amok and life starts to suck, you're stuck cause you never go back. Where will I be when I run out of luck? Get hit by a truck or get stuck on the railroad tracks. When shit goes amok and life starts to suck, you're stuck cause you never go
Where
back.
Where will I be when I run out of luck? Get hit by a truck or get stuck on the railroad tracks. When shit goes amok and life starts to suck, get stuck cause you never go. Where will I be when I run out of luck? Get hit by a truck or get stuck on the railroad tracks. When shit goes amok and life starts to suck, you're stuck cause you never go back.
Sneak up your driveway all calm and collective, tripping balls like an underground detective. Needs new shit but my funds are running low. I spend it on weed, true fear and blow. Living life like a cartoon, just flipping the page as I'm staring down the barrel of a 12 gauge. Shotty to the body and it's got me open, shaking so bad I think my legs are broken. I'm choking on the smoke and coughing up the shot, waking up from a dream. These drugs are high. Chasing strychnine with kind and beer with whiskey. Sing a lullaby and I'm sorry you missed me.
You can't hide and you can't pretend, cause I'll point you out like Wendy and Glenn. Some things you learn in the school you attend, but the things